Oklo is on the path to capturing commercial opportunities from the shift toward nuclear energy driven by the data center boom. The company is setting the stage for fueling the AI power supply, however, pushing back its timeline to developing nuclear. Oklo co-founder and CEO Jacob DeWitt joining us now to discuss. Jake, it's good to see you. I do want to start on the action we're seeing in your stock today, Jake. Listen, you pull back the chart, it's had a remarkable move, but today we are down and under some pressure here. I wonder, Jake, how much this has to do with details you shared, maybe, Jake, on the share lockup. What is going on there? Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think, look, at the end of the day, the stock's performed so well, the company's been doing so well that we had to do some regulatory disclosures because of the acceleration of some unlocks on some of the major long-term holders of the company. Myself and my co-founder included. Of course, that's, we're not moving those shares or anything. So I think at the end of the day, there's kind of a lot of response to that. But generally speaking, it's a reflection of how well things are actually moving on this front and how well the company's been doing as of late.
Certainly, there's a lot of enthusiasm, Jake. As we talked to you before, it seems to even have gotten to be more, potentially. The timeline that you guys are now talking about for your first demo project, can you walk me through that and what has changed?
Yeah, I mean, really nothing. Where we're at is continuing to execute on the regulatory milestones. We had a couple announcements that span the last month plus that are sort of on the track towards what everything you need to have in hand to get a plant up and running and starting to produce power in late 27. We continue to execute well with pretty significant capital efficiency. When you look at the nuclear space, typically things spend a lot of money, and that's kind of the normal part of the founding thesis we had at Oklo is you don't have to do that. Nuclear does not have to be costly and expensive in those ways, and we're validating that, right? Having about 1/5 the cash out the door compared to our competitors and making significant progress. So at the end of the day, we're on a good trajectory for that first plant. But what's really kind of exciting, and it's one of the big things that just happened this week that I think on a Friday news cycle, sometimes folks a little bit forget, given we announced it a couple of days ago, just added 750 megawatts for data center powering on our order book. A pretty sizable development as we've scaled that up now to 2.1 gigawatts total. And look, like the pipeline is extremely active here. I mean, given all the activity going on in the space, given other energy sources announcing deals in the data center side, I mean, it's a really exciting time to be in this business. Just crazy amounts of demand coming forward, and we have a unique solution. It's really important.
Jake, we did not forget that you signed that additional deal for the additional letters of intent. No, I was going to ask you about it actually, because you did not name the customers in that particular case. Can you give us a hint? Or I'm just curious because when you don't name those customers, what's the sort of strategy? Why are some of these maybe AI data center owners or whatever they are, why do they not want to tip their hand and let people know that they've signed these letters of intent?
Yeah. Well, I just had to bring it in, of course, so I'm glad we got to that. But no, it's an interesting dynamic. I think what we're seeing emerging as of late is the nearer term power deployment opportunities that we're really working to fill in, not some of these real long-term things, but these near-term dynamics are really impacting one of the most significant strategic assets that data center developers are limited by, which is power. And we bring that solution forward in a way that really works for them, given our business model, right? We just sell them the power. They tell us where they're going. We bring it there. We sell them power. It's a unique differentiation from kind of what's otherwise out in the nuclear space. And what we're finding is that's worth a lot strategically to these customers. And so they don't necessarily want to get out there and tip their hand, given what this helps them do in terms of their development plans at this stage. And we respect that. We get that. We're happy to be adding something of such significant strategic importance in a near term. But that said, these things all develop in time and progression. So we expect, those to continue and ultimately sort of more details to come forward as those basically continue to maturity and ultimately commercialization. But I think we're seeing a lot of strategic kind of, I would say, maneuvering on behalf of some of our customers about what they see as the value of what we're doing here and wanting to kind of keep that close to the chest because of the advantage they see it gives them. We appreciate that because it begets more business, but it will also ultimately come to bear as these things execute towards, turning these plants online, turning the data centers online and actually providing power.
Jake, Vivek Ramaswamy, of course, along with Elon Musk, heading up up our new Department of Government Efficiency. Here's what Ramaswamy posted on X this morning. I thought of you, Jake. He posted, too much bureaucracy equals less innovation and higher costs. That's a real problem with the FDA, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and countless other three-letter agencies. What's your response to that, Jake?
I mean, it's pretty fascinating, right? That the NRC is one of the top named focus points here. I think what we see is we've had a lot of support from a bipartisan basis for nuclear in this country that spans back several administrations, and it's only increased, right? It increased from Obama to Trump the first time, increased from Trump to Biden. I think we're going to see it increase even more from Biden to Trump again. And I think one of the big focuses you're seeing out of this administration coming in, President-elect Trump really cares about driving, more development and unleashing the American economy and getting regulatory dynamics out of the way that are out of date. And so I think you see a lot of interest that's also supported on a bipartisan front of regulatory modernization and driving for more efficiency. And I think that at the end of the day, that's only going to be constructive for getting new plants built.
Jake, I'm curious about speed. In 20 seconds, do you think that you could see a move up in the timeline if there's significant regulatory change?
I think it's possible, especially if you couple that with some things the government can do to accelerate availability of fuel, something that there's a lot of interest in doing too, to kind of bridge us to commercial supply chains being fully functional. So I think there's some possibilities there that are pretty exciting. So we're exploring those and eager to see how those unfold.
Jake, always great to see you and have you on the show. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for having me.